Epic Gaming Night is sponsored by Tasty Minstrel Games. Make sure to check out the Tasty Minstrel podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. This podcast is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me, as always, is Matt.
Oh, God, I got on mute. Hello.
And Rob.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, guys?
It's
pretty good.
Going.
Hype.
Oh,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
our 150th episode of all time. We're not quite at 3 years yet, seeing that we started the podcast in May, almost 3 years ago. But we're at 150 episodes, which is pretty intense. So that's super exciting. And
Yes.
we have the whole gang back together. We've been missing Rob. He's been out for 2 weeks, so we have our special guest Rob on this week.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, if anybody doesn't know who you are, Rob, could you just tell them a little bit about yourself? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
So my LinkedIn profile, been in sales my entire professional career.
The LinkedIn profile, though.
Yeah, sold everything from copiers and scanners to I was a manager of a water and coffee company for a while and got into real estate and sold cars for a month. Sold about, I think it was like 11 cars, but I didn't like it, so I went to wait tables for a while. I've done a lot of crazy stuff. Now I'm a realtor, and
then he played Risk Legacy.
I own a real estate company that I run with my mom, and I played Risk Legacy a lot. Yeah,
That's
why
the
I'm
whole
here.
background, the whole thing.
That's it. I got 2 kids. It means my wife's been nice to me at least twice, and things are good.
Times.
At least twice. I
Also,
can use that. Oh, mine. That's pretty good.
Hey, that's the PG version of getting it in there. That's what that is.
I was
Been
loved
nice to you
once.
twice.
Oh, man. That is good.
Nice. Well, I posted on Twitter again for what my background should be, and one of our followers commented this picture, which is of like, it looks like the D&D meeples almost from Lords of Waterdeep with a Canadian flag and like this tower thing, and I'm like, what is this? So I like reverse Google image searched it to figure out what it was, and it's the Board Game Crew, which is like another one of our followers, and they do like board game videos and reviews and stuff. It looks like they're just starting out, but I'm like, we've been background hijacked by the Board Game Crew. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, that's fine, I'll put it up as my background. So
Yeah, I see it.
so hey, it's their it's like their logo. But he took the Board Game Crew off. I guess he was trying to be inconspicuous. So hey, shout out to the Board Game Crew. Check out some unboxings if you want to, that sort of thing. You know, good times. I'm gonna continue to just be like, hey, who wants to throw up whatever as my background, just because I think it's funny. Last week, I don't know if you saw it, Rob, but we had dinosaurs on an island playing Dinosaur Island. It was pretty hilarious.
I did not see that because I was listening and driving.
Yeah.
And the few times I was irresponsible and typed in.
Oh, you were driving when you typed in. I didn't realize you were driving then. I thought you were like actually stopped somewhere.
Well, some of the times I was stopped, and some of the times I was not stopped.
Nice.
Not saying which show, because there was 2 shows I was out. But we survived.
You're just looking over at your wife. You're like, honey, what does that say? I think Adam made a snarky comment, but I can't read it from over there. Can you just read it aloud real quick?
All right.
Nice. But yeah, first thing I want to talk about for news is, once again, I wanted to remind people about our Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea giveaway, because it's ridiculous. Extremely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Aren't they
make
getting,
sure to
like,
check
a
that
full
out. The link is
pledge?
actually in the description of this video,
Yes.
and we'll once again put the link in the show notes as well. But basically, all you have to do is just go and fill out a thing. There's a bunch of different ways you can enter. We're giving away the core set for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, the expansion, both things of Mercenaries, the sleeves, all like the works basically for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
You're getting the all-in Kickstarter pledge. Aren't they also getting?
Well,
the map?
actually, I mean, the crazy thing is like a lot of the stuff, like the Kickstarter all in was basically like just the boxes or whatever, and then you had some add-ons. But like the sleeves were like a pledge manager thing, and then the
So
the
they're getting
playmat
even
was
more.
like a pledge manager thing. So it's like all these pledge manager things added in as well. So it's like extreme Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and I love that game. So I'm super excited to be able to give it
It
away.
is a great game.
So definitely, if you haven't entered, make sure to enter in that. We're trying to. I made it so that we're going to be running it for a long time, so that everybody gets a chance to enter on it. But it's been really cool because we've had a lot of response on it so far. So it'd be cool to ship that out to somebody. So hey, good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of other news. The Batman
there's
Kickstarter is
only
pretty
a
exciting.
couple days left of the Batman one.
Yeah, definitely check out the Batman Kickstarter. They've got a lot of minis on that now. Like, I don't know if you've gone back through and looked, and that's why I was like,
Well, that's why I texted you, because I was like, I don't want to get a copy, and then you get a copy, and then Trevor get a copy.
well, I'm getting a copy. So,
yeah.
because you
I know
basically
Trevor.
you're like, I'm not doing it because you're doing the new zombie side, right?
Yeah.
You're holding off for that. So I'm like, gotta
Well,
make
that,
this
and
thing.
I'm
happen.
also going to do Dinosaur Island.
Yeah. So definitely check out the Batman Kickstarter if you're interested at all. I know a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, it's so expensive. And
Yeah, but there's like 150 plus minis unlocked now, right?
yeah. I mean, that was kind of what I was waiting for, was like, I mean, it looked cool, and I knew that I'd like the game, but I wanted to get to the point where it's like, man, I can't hold off anymore, you know? So, I'm
yeah,
pretty
153 minis have been unlocked. Already 45 stretch goals. Just for the base pledge.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing is the base pledge. I mean, the other stuff looks pretty cool. Like the Versus thing would probably be really cool because then you get another board and then like more cards. So all the good guy cards, you can play those guys in the same fashion. So you can kind of do like a one-on-one, head-on-head gameplay, which seems like that would
Hey, are
be
you
pretty
going to
cool.
do the extra $10 for the villain campaign pack?
Oh, you can do just $10.
Yeah, for the add-on, they have it's free if you do the all-in pledge, but if you do the villain campaign pledge, it's only $10 and it's the Versus add-on.
Oh,
And you get to play as Bane and some of the other criminals that he allied with, and you got to overtake the city and stuff like that. So it's almost like
it treats
the
them like
opposite.
good guys.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I'm sure it'll be
Oh.
in the pledge manager too.
And this is very important. You will require a copy of the Versus mode add-on to play
Oh,
these scenarios. All right, what's the
gotcha.
Versus
Yeah, I
mode?
haven't done the Versus mode, and I think that's another like $50 or something like that.
35.
35.
So to do all that, it'd be an additional $45.
Dang
You
it,
did
Rob.
work late last night. You got that extra money.
If only it worked.
If
like
only
that.
that were true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good times. But yeah, the miniatures look ridiculous in that game, so I'm excited.
gosh.
I mean, I already feel like I know what the game's gonna play like, so that's the main reason why I was like, okay, it's time for Batman. So
Why in the heck do they have a T-Rex? I mean,
I guess
love
it's like a Batman thing. Like I guess it's in the background
Well-
of a bunch of comics or something like that. He has a robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex. But yeah, I don't think I was that interested in those add-ons or whatever. I mean, it looked cool. There are a couple extra figures, but there's so many hero figures in the base pledge now. I'm just like, meh. It's fine.
Yeah, but man, these tiles look so good.
Are you talking
you-
yourself into it now, Rob?
This game just does look so good.
Are you ready for them to try and do a Marvel Legendary, but like a DC thing, where they're like, next up, Superman. The next up,
Oh, they
Wonder
just
Woman.
continue to do it.
Yeah, so they just
Are they going to
add-
do like that, like a Justice
can-
League
I
type
can-
of thing?
I can see them doing
Like
that.
the next Kickstarter?
I mean, not for a little while, because clearly they'll have to get the licensing and stuff like that. But given the success of this one, and clearly people want it, they'll probably. I don't see why they wouldn't just look into it.
If you're having financial issues or you really don't want to back the Kickstarter, literally don't look at it.
Well, see, that's the other thing is like, I think it would be cool if they did like a Justice League one. I think Batman has got enough fans of his own, and his movies, the Christian Bale movies at least, were super crazy successful.
I just like all the villains too, man. There's so many villains. I'm just like, man.
But I think to do a Superman one by himself, I don't know if it would do as well. Now, I love Superman, but a lot of people think...
Dude, if they did a Superman one, and it was compatible with this, and it had all the Superman villains, that would be really cool, though.
Oh,
could you imagine with just piles of Superman villains?
If they would make them where they're all compatible...
See, that's what I'm saying. Make it based on the same thing. Maybe add some modules with it and stuff. But it basically acts as sort of like a standalone expansion on its own. So you have the Superman one that has all the different various Supermans, all the Superman villains.
It's kind of funny because
that you can add onto the base game or something that plays a little bit differently. And then they just crank those out for all the other DC characters. Like they could do one entirely for the Watchmen. They could do one for Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter. Like that. They can make some serious cash.
But this is Kickstarter exclusive, so if you don't get in on this one, I mean... Now Rob's going to be like... Anyway.
It's fine. You can buy it on the secondhand market after the hype's died down for the normal price. 4.5 years from now, though.
That's the only thing, man. That's... Man, it's just... This is a gorgeous game. It really is just a gorgeous game. I'm looking at the tiles
I like too
right
that the bases are like they're not just like flat. I think it's really cool that like they have like a little bit of like texture to the bases and stuff, because I really like to do the bases on my miniatures. It's like it looks like cracked roads and stuff like that on the bases and crap. So
I mean, look at these freaking tiles on the Wayne Manor. I mean,
oh yeah,
this is gorgeous, bro.
I can honestly see them announcing another thing. If they've already secured licensing for it, do like what Cool Mini or Not does, where they're like, hey guys, cool, thanks for sticking with us through the campaign and funding us and all that stuff. Look out for our next Kickstarter coming, next March. And then next March rolls around and it's like, hey, it's Superman. And you're like, oh man, here we go again.
You think they're going to wait that long?
Well, no, I don't know how long it would. They would have to put in some serious work on it, I feel like, to be able to announce it, and then a couple months later come out with a Kickstarter for it.
Yeah.
Mostly because of licensing issues, but
speaking of Kickstarter, one that's got me a little worried right now is this whole Lords of Hellas.
Oh yeah,
that they sent out today, Matt.
No,
got pushed back another 9 to 12 months.
Ooh, dang!
That's
intense.
How
does that work for people like you who have?
So they are pushed back like another 2 to 4 months to finish just the first wave shipping, and then an additional 6 to possible 8 months for the add-ons and for the all-in-one wave shipping people.
Oh, so you're just getting shafted, period.
Yeah. But here's what they're doing. They're being really nice, and they're allowing us the opportunity to pay in more money to get the pre-shipping. Like the 2-wave pre-shipping.
Gotcha.
Like, okay.
Well, okay.
I really think you should bite the bullet on that one because it's such a delay. I get it. It is Kickstarter. Like, I understand, but you're talking about delaying it almost a year possibly.
That's
I think there was that one thing that they were
what
saying.
What happens in the manufacturing where you're like, oh yeah, another year?
That's what I was going to say. Is I think that I remember them at one point saying that that like airbrush thing that they were doing that a lot of people seem to get was taking a lot longer than they thought because it's all hand done. So I don't know if it's just like they're like, hey man, we've got 28,000 copies of this game. Do you think you could airbrush them all? And it's just like one dude in a paint studio is just like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? Like, no. I have no idea, honestly.
See, here's what worries me about this a little bit is what is this now going to do for Nemesis?
Oh yeah, it is crazy. That's like, oh, our Nemesis Kickstarter ended. Oh yeah, everybody, the other game that everybody really liked from us. Oh yeah, it's not going to come out for a whole nother year than what we were originally saying. Oh, cool, thanks. I'm glad that I backed your other Kickstarter also. I'll never see it.
I wonder if it's going to be, maybe they go with a different production company. Like if it's one of those things where it's like they're just having trouble with like a particular company getting models or whatever done. Maybe they go with a different company to see how that works out for it. I don't know.
I mean, Lords of Hellas, I thought was really cool. I'd really like to play it like 4 players and like be able to have more time to actually like mess around with the different stuff and things like that. And try out the game a little bit more. But it'd be cool if people got the game too.
It would be cool.
Yeah, especially since they paid for it.
Yeah, because if Rob gets a copy, I might actually get a chance to play it. No, I'm just kidding. Matt. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man, I'm sorry.
Good times. Awesome. Well, I guess we could go ahead and get into what we've been playing. I know we've played a bunch of different stuff. One thing that we all played together, if you guys hadn't checked, we did our the epic tales of Misplaced Meeples. We did our D&D game. If you hadn't checked out the audio for that, make sure to check it out. We continued where we left off, and it was like 3.5 hours of D&D. So, hey, you might not be all the way through that. You might be partially through that. But if you actually successfully listen to the whole thing, and if you could figure out how the actual puzzle at the end of the scenario was actually supposed to be completed, that the party did not, if you figure that out and email me, like, I'll send you some dice or something like that. Just because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
You thought what was hilarious?
Man, when you explained it to me, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Exactly. Hey, I feel like there's going to be people listening that like will just get it. And they'll just be like, guys.
Yeah, but those people listening probably aren't listening after a long week, like 9. When did we come to that? Like at around 11:30, 12 o'clock?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely the middle of the night.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I like the way that turned out.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how that's all going to play out with that whole particular thing. Did not expect to do what I did, and it turned out to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Rob was like smiling like the whole last hour of the episode.
I was just so happy.
It was pretty great.
That's awesome. I'm excited. I've definitely been having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of cool because like sometimes like I kind of try to keep it open-ended and things like that, and like, oh man, they could do this or that or these things, and when everything just falls together and turns out really well, and you guys are seeming to have fun with it as well, I'm like, yes, this is a lot of fun. D&D's so good. So
it is so good.
It's funny because I posted on Twitter a poll. And the poll was like, why is D&D the best game? And I was like, if only I had the time was one answer. And the other answers were, I roll with that, or I like, or no, I like board games. And there were a lot of people that said no, they like board games. But the 2 D&D answers had more votes than the board games thing. It's just tons and tons of people were like, if only I had time to play D&D. It's just... It's hard to make the time to. Like,
well, and I get it because you can get lost. Because like we really didn't go very far again, but we played for 3+ hours, but we didn't really go far.
I'm about to say we did a lot. I don't know what do you want to do? Do you want to like run across the map or something? Like it's D&D.
Well, like no. Here's what I'm talking about. Like if I were to play Skyrim in 3.5 hours, I get a lot more done. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm loving playing this D&D. I'm not complaining about it at all. It's just, I guess it takes longer because you're having to describe everything and like you're having to put, the theater of the mind on and stuff. But I have thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah. Nice.
I think what it is just the amount of exposition that's in D&D. So like you play a game of Skyrim, how often are you talking to people? You're literally just fighting things silently in a cave. And you're like, hey, this is fun. Whereas
that's true.
D&D, there's a lot of just let me haggle with this merchant for a bit to try and
I'm
get this
hopefully
healing
doing a
potion.
good enough job describing stuff so that you guys can really visualize, like, and work together to visualize what's going on, you know, so that we can build the story together, you know.
Yeah.
You are doing good, and I can say you are definitely inspiring me for when I get the chance.
Yeah. So that's what I was hoping.
Crazy ideas.
That's what I was hoping for, is like we could play like through the thing, and then it's like, okay, now Rob has a really good idea of like what ideas of things to do, or kind of the how things can kind of work, you know. It's kind of like, oh, cool, they didn't do things the way I thought they were going to do, but they came up with some really creative things. Just roll with that as a DM, you know. It's like, hey, reward their creativity, reward thinking outside the box, or reward just going a different way than you would think of, you know. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Super awesome.
Awesome. But yeah, we
Did you
played
guys
a bunch
play
of other
anything
games
else?
too. So, well, what have you guys been playing? I know Rob played a ton of things.
I played a ton. Hey, one thing I'm not going to go too crazy into, but one thing I did. So while I was gone, we played. Man, we must have played Wits and Wagers a ton since last time I've talked to you guys. A ton. So one of the things I did is I bought a poker set. Not that I play poker, but I'm going to use the poker chips as like upgrades. For the paper chips, and the cardboard ones are thick. They're nice. They're not bad. But like now that I have the nice Vegas big playmat and everything like that,
Yeah.
It'll be pretty cool to play with the poker stuff. So I'm excited to get that. That came in after we got back. But does anybody else want to talk about a game that they played?
I played Star Wars Rebellion today. And I got to play with the new Rise of the Empire expansion, which I think is really cool because it changes up the way you draw cards in combat and kind of like simplifies it. Basically, before you used to like draw a certain number of cards based on the leaders you had out there. Now, if you have a leader in there, you just get to draw a card, and you both secretly pick simultaneously at the same time, and they can kind of counter each other, or they'll give you like extra hits in combat and things like that. So the cool thing is sometimes even if you have less ships than your opponent, you can still end up taking something out where you normally wouldn't be able to. And then of course you have all the Rogue One characters, so it's kind of cool to play Star Wars Rebellion with those Rogue One guys, because the very first time I played Rebellion, I was like, they gotta add the Rogue One stuff in here because it fits perfectly with the theme, because it's all about espionage and sneaking in there and taking out the Death Star and things like that. But yeah, I like what the expansion adds. It adds like new troop types and things like that. So you have like a dude with a giant rocket launcher or whatever, like the dude in Rogue One and stuff like that, for like the rebels and stuff like that. But I don't think it added too much complexity to the game either. And it adds a little bit more variety for the missions, so you don't always know what's going on. But I played against Trevor, and he played the Empire and just like trounced me. So, and if I had done a little bit better, or maybe I wasn't as much of a noob at the game, I'm pretty sure I would have easily held him off, because like he had the entire galaxy except for where the rebel base was. So I successfully kept him from figuring out where the rebel base was, but I just couldn't complete any missions to make the time track go up. But
did you win?
No, I lost. But I mean, literally, he killed off like everything I had on the board. He quashed every chance I had to even build ships, and he still wasn't finding the rebel base, because the Empire only wins if they find the rebel base. So he had almost everything, and all his ships are on like this side of the board, and their whole base is on that side of the board. So it's kind of like, well, it was fun. If I had been able to complete a couple more missions, like I would have actually like won the game, or if I had been smart enough to like hold him off better. But I am not nearly as experienced in the game. I'd only played it once before, so I think Trevor's in the double digits on playing the game. So he definitely did like a choke Empire strategy where he just like made it so I didn't have any planets, and then I'm just kind of like, well, I can't build ships if I don't have planets, and I can't take planets if I don't have ships. So it's kind of like, and I'll just try to hide from you some more. But it was fun. I liked the game. It would be fun to play it some more with someone who's maybe a little bit closer to my level of playing it, or maybe not as good at the game. But I definitely liked relearning the rules and things like that. So definitely a good game, Star Wars Rebellion. Hopefully it doesn't always end the same way with the Empire if you're not playing with someone who's a noob like me. So,
well, sweet. Well, I have the expansion still in Shrink.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's definitely worth having, especially if you like the game. So, I almost think it's one like you could just easily add in the very first time you play. So, because I think it actually simplifies some stuff in some ways. So,
okay,
it's pretty cool.
Well, sweet. How about you, Matt?
I played D&D.
You played D&D with us.
Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to play much of anything, I don't think. Yep. It's getting hard these days to do that. But anywho.
Also played the same game that Rob's probably about to talk about, so I'll throw in my 2 cents on that.
I will talk about that game first. Yes. So I got the chance to play Dinosaur Island with He Who Shall Not Be Named and his daughter, and had an absolute amazing time playing this game. He has the extreme upgrade version, I guess, from the first Kickstarter that comes with like the metal coins and all that kind of stuff. And Dinosaur Island is we didn't play the long game. There's I think a short game, a medium game, and a long game. Our card said medium. It took us a little over 2 hours to play. We had 4 cards to the left of the board that signified the end of the game. Once 3 of the objectives were met, the game ended. And so 4 was just like 4 different options. But once 3 of the 4 options were met, the game ended that next round. Now, in that next round, we were able also to complete the 4th. We were able to complete the 4th mission. But one of the things that we had is first person to 12 dinosaurs. Then we had get your park full. Every space except for 4 spaces. We had another one of like first one to have 4 additional upgraded buildings. Not in your park, but like, where you have like your little player mat and you can like upgrade how many dinosaurs you can put out a turn and stuff like that, where it doesn't cost you as much. You had to have 4 of those different types of upgrades. And then the other one was to have something about research, like to have a research done to have so many DNA points, have 15 DNA points at one time. I love the game. So it is a Euro game, but the theme really does go really well. At the end of each round, you're going to pull meeples out of a bag. Yellow meeples are good people that will bring money into your park. Purple meeples are, we called them millennials. They snuck into your park. They always got a free space at first. They didn't bring you any money. They were just in the way. And the one of the things I liked about the upgraded version one, of course, is the coins, nice thick coins, and then also the different types of dinosaurs.
Those coins are actually ridiculous.
Those coins really are ridiculous.
They're very heavy.
They are.
They're heavier. Like, you take those out, I feel like they're heavier than everything else in the box combined. They're thick coins. They're like 2 or 3 nickels thick. Like, they're
like, it's insane. Like, I have never seen a metal coin like as hardcore as these coins are.
They are thick, and then you've got the upgraded plastic beakers and stuff like that for your scientists. So anyway, so we were playing, and the point of the game is to try to, like I said, complete 3 out of those 4 objectives. Now, you by yourself may only complete 1. It's whenever they're 3 out of the 4 is completed. It's not that you have to do 3 out of the 4. So you may only do 1, and somebody else may only do 1, and somebody else may only do 1, and then the game has 1 more round. That's it. And then, of course, you get points at the end for how many exhibits you have, how many dinosaurs you have, how much upgrades you have. You also get points for those side missions that you have completed. So our scores at the end of the game were actually pretty high. They weren't too low. Mm-hmm. I won the game. I think I scored in the 80s or something like that. But it's still, I had an absolute blast. I ended up with some pterodactyl dinosaurs. I had some cool, like, little chill dinosaurs. I had like a type of T-Rex, but it wasn't T-Rex. It was a Takatuka Tumpa Tipi, whatever it was. Something. They have weird names. Saurus, something Saurus. I had a bunch of
Somethinosaurus.
dinosaurs. And then I had like my hat shop, and I had like a little restaurant and stuff like that. And then He Who Shall Not Be Named and his daughter, they punked me. Man, we're playing the game, and I don't know if you guys got to play with these, but there's these extra crew cards where you can buy. It helps you get extra meeples to let you do more moves.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the guys I had, his thing was really cool is if he's in your park, one less person gets eaten if your security level is not high enough. So I never had to push so hard for my security as much as they did, because I was like, well, if one gets eaten, they technically don't get eaten, so I'm okay. But there was this one really, really cool person that I needed, and I had one slot left to be able to buy one more person, and they were both full on their persons. And when you're going to buy stuff, I think it's like the second stage of the round, when you're going to buy stuff, if you don't buy either a upgrade to your facility, if you don't buy a shop or a merchandise or restaurant, and if you don't buy a person, you can buy like a DNA upgrade because you want to get your DNA strands. Well, both of them, there were only 2 characters left, and both of them were pretty decent characters. And they both knew that I was going for one of them because I wanted to get my last meeple out. And they didn't even need what they needed, but they were just complete jerks. And it was absolutely amazing that they just bought their DNAs, right? Now, here's the thing about DNA. If you upgrade your DNA, here in that row, you then get to discard a card from that row.
Yep.
And so they were both before me, and the 2 rows left that had people, they just upgraded their DNA just so they could discard the person. And they're both laughing in my face while they're doing it. Just like shaking the card. And like his daughter, she's like, "Oh, did you need this? Oh, did you need this, Rob? Rob, you needed this guy? Yeah?" And I'm like, "You guys are such punks." But I loved it. We had a blast. We laughed. We goofed around. It's a fun Euro.
So do you know if y'all played the medium or the long game?
We played the medium. It took a little over 2 hours.
Nice, cool.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have taken that long, but it was my first time playing, so we were going over rules and stuff like that. Yeah. And you have the different dice combinations, which are a lot of fun. I don't know. Like, Euro, to me, now doesn't seem like such a dirty word. When I play games like that, or games like Godfather, or games like Champions of Midgard, or other games.
An interesting theme that you're actually excited about, as opposed to like a...
When it's not just queue pushing. Like even freaking Terraforming Mars. That's a heavy Euro game. At least to me is. That's not like a light Euro. Like I would say Terraforming Mars is heavier than Dinosaur Island just because of the cards and the combos that you can do. It's a big game. But I like it because of the theme. Because like, okay, this is fun. This is something I can get behind. And so like, to me, like I'm still Ameritrash. I love Ameritrash games because I don't have to think about them, right? It's just like, do this. Okay, that makes sense. But these games, man, that are coming out, I'm really, really enjoying them. As long
as it has the strong theme on it.
Well, and not just the strong theme definitely helps, but it's fun. And there's also a little bit of take that. Like they were able to get the guys away from me and take that. It wasn't like they were just able to build their perfect scenario without somebody else interfering. You know, sometimes you can build your engine.
Multiplayer solitaire.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. You can still build your engine. With this game, like for example, when you're going to upgrade or buy dinosaurs, I don't know if you guys played it differently, but the way that we played, you have the 3 stacks of dinosaurs. Once that dinosaur is bought for that round, either I think it's the 1, 2, or the 1. The 2 and then the 3, where you need at least a 3 at the end. You can't flip over another one till the next round.
Right.
So if you don't buy a dinosaur, of that nature that you needed for your scientists, the little beacons that say 3, 2, and 1, you're kind of stuck. And so I like where it gives a little bit.
Carnivores, and then the large carnivores.
Yeah, that's right. I like it where it makes it where it's a little bit of. Take that a little bit where there's consequences, to things. And so they just released it again on Kickstarter, and they added some additional stuff like a 2-player version and things like that. I don't know if I'll get that, but I'm probably gonna get the extreme edition like he got with those coins and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was a good solid 4-player game, under 2 hours. If everybody knows what they're doing, I'd be happy and would love to play with you guys one day.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely want to get it back to the table. Brett in chat was asking if my opinion has changed because I wasn't really impressed with it the first go around. And while I haven't gotten a chance to play it again, I do think it is a case of the short campaign is...
Yeah, the short game, you throw a couple dinosaurs on the board and the game's over. And the fact that it's kind of like a game where you're setting up your little engine by trying to get your different characters, because like you said, Rob, all the different characters have different abilities. Like, you're trying to get different things for your park so you can upgrade that stuff. If you're playing the short game, you upgrade 1 or 2 things, and before you even get to use them, the game's over. So
yeah.
Oh, we had almost all of our parks full by the end of the game.
Nice. Yeah.
See, that's what I think would be a lot of fun, because when I played it, I think I made 3 dinosaur pens, didn't put any attractions down, and that was basically where the game ended.
Did you have your dinosaur pens full?
Not completely 4 stacked. I think one was a 1 that had a really large carnivore in it, and then the other one had a 2 and one had 3.
Also, we played
that's more
with
than
this
we had.
version. There are 2 cards at the end of the round where stuff automatically happens. Like, one card was you got to upgrade a DNA of your choice, and another card was where you could upgrade other things. And one of the things you could upgrade was your dinosaur pen for free, or you could upgrade your security risk. I don't know if you guys got to play with that. And so that helped us a lot. At the very end, instead of spending the money or the time to upgrade security or the dinosaur pen, we would just wait to the end of the round, and depending on what we need. Like, I never did my security. I always did my dinosaur pens, and I was one of the first people to get all those dinosaurs out.
Yeah.
Man, but bro, those dinosaurs, when you get that threat really high, you start to stress.
I'm glad it feels that way, because for me it just felt like, okay, well, I'm going to put this dinosaur out that's going to increase the threat by 3, so I'm going to have to spend this to get my threat up to 4 so that it doesn't eat something. And then there to me didn't seem to be a whole lot of risk in that, which I feel like opening a dinosaur park would have been risky intrinsically.
Yeah, I feel like you can mitigate it
just,
if you want to, but you just have to decide if it's something that you actually want to spend the money to mitigate,
Yeah. And
well, here's what happened. I was about to say his name, but he who shall not be named. He just went after dinosaurs, right? He didn't really do attractions or anything like that. But with the dinosaurs, it gave him extra points, so he was able to draw extra people out of the bag in a turn. But with him drawing so many people out of the bag and not having a lot of attractions, on average, he averaged, I want to say, about maybe 2.5 plus, because I think there was one round where he got 4 millennials, 4 of the purple guys, and he only got $3 or $4 at the end of the round.
That stinks.
Oh, it stinks. Well, and then me and his daughter, what we did is we went for more attractions and stuff, and so that's why when we were pulling them out of the bag, and I had this one guy too, and he said, hey, if all of your merchandise places are full, you can still stick people in your merchandise place. One extra in each merchandise place. So I was focusing on merchandise, but there are different ways to run it. He actually still scored a lot of points because he went for those large carnivores, and at the end, they were 6 points a piece or something like that. They were pretty big. But I don't know. I think I think it was fun for you guys to get a taste, but there's so much more game there.
Right. I mean, I could see basically what the game was like. It's just the game needs. The short game is tutorial game, then you reset so you can.
It's
play
a good
the
demo
game.
for cons. That's what the short game is.
Or it's the demo for cons, or hey, since I feel like it's a game where knowing the game kind of rewards you. So if you play it the first time and you don't really know what you're doing, you could be a little bit messed up. But I don't even think that was that bad. So you should probably just, if you're gonna play the game and you own the game, you should probably just start with the medium game at least.
I think that's fair. That was my first time ever playing. And I mean, granted, I do play games maybe a little bit more than your average person, but I was able to pick up on it and had a blast with it.
Awesome.
So
I also feel like since you're because you can upgrade your container for the DNA, where you're
yes.
you can't have a certain amount, and upgrading that helps you be able to hold more, but that's kind of like more like a long-term sort of thing. So it's like, hey, if you're barely playing the game, like all these different long-term strategies that are built into the game are just kind of like, okay. So, but yeah, Dinosaur Island, definitely pretty cool. Is it still on Kickstarter, or is it?
Yeah, no,
it's still on Kickstarter.
Yeah, for like a couple weeks, if not more.
Nice. But yeah, and Jonathan Gilmour is a friend of the show.
24 days.
We actually talked to him about this game a bunch when he was on the podcast. So.
And I'll also say aesthetically, I don't know.
Very pretty.
It is such a gorgeous game. It's like the same thing that Lindsay did, the Action Countdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm just really into right now that 1980s Miami Vice look type of a thing. And it is so cool. But I do believe if I get it, I am going to be making a trip to Hobby Lobby and doing the googly eyes.
Did you actually see that picture?
Oh, I've seen that picture. And I was asking my buddy, who shall not be named, if he's going to do it. And, of course, his grumpy self, he didn't know if he was going to do it or whatnot. But I just kept thinking, like, these would be so awesome if their eyes were just, like, bouncing around right now.
That's awesome.
So,
Great.
do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
Sure, man.
Bro, I played this game with the same guy who shall not be named. We also played another game, Harvest Dice. Real cute, real simple game. I'm not going to get into it. It was nice. Look it up. Not bad, but I like this game better. Fantasy Realms. Fantasy Realms. You are dealt 7 cards, and then there are a stack of cards. And you are literally just trying to make combos with your cards. Mm-hmm. And your cards say different things from, like there's armies, there's weather, there's wizards, there's items, there's weapons, there's machines. And so, like, certain cards combine really well with other certain cards. Like, there's this elf thing that's this elf bow, and if you have, like, X army, it gives you an extra plus, like, 10 points at the end of the game, right? And so, like, you can multiply stuff, and, like, there's a king and a queen, and, like, there's characters. And so if you get the king and the queen, like, if you get the king, all armies in your 7 cards are, like, plus 10 points. But if you have a queen, you have the king and the queen, then they're worth, like, 40 points apiece. So it's 40 points as the king and then 40 points as the queen. So you're, like, racking up points. It's a very quick filler game. We were done playing the game and scoring the game in about 15 minutes. The way that you play is everyone is dealt 7 cards. We played with 3 people, so here's how we played. Everyone is dealt 7 cards. You have a deck of cards in front of you, and then you have a discard pile. In your discard pile, every round, you're going to draw a card. You're either going to draw it from the discard pile or you're going to draw it from the deck.
Oh, so you actually draw from the discard pile?
You can draw from the discard pile.
Huh.
So, and when you put, and well, that's actually how the game ends, is once 10 cards have made it to the discard pile, the game is over. And so, like, as we're getting towards the end, we're like, draw from the discard pile because we don't want the game to end. Like, come on, draw from the discard pile. And so, like, I may not be focusing on wizards, but Roy may be focusing on wizards, and I may throw down a staff that says plus 25 points with a wizard. And so, you know, you're trying to just get all these combinations to multiply points. In the upper left-hand corner of the card is the point value. Some of the point values are really high, but then they'll have, like, a bad thing in the card. Like, this is worth 30 points, but it's also a flood, right? And the flood cards don't really interact with a lot of other cards very well, okay? But then there are other cards that are really low, but they multiply really high if you have them stacked with other cards. It was really quick. It was really fun. As soon as I got done playing the first game, I was like, all right, I'm buying this. I put it on my Amazon order. It's quick. It's fast. The artwork is really cool. It's a lot of fun. You're drawing 7 cards, 10, and then you do your multiplier, and that's it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, this is a game that I'll take with me to cons, and that if we're waiting on something, hey, you got 10 minutes, let's play this game real quick.
So it sounds like Lee Who Shall Not Be Named.
I won't say his name. You could say it, but I won't say it, even though you just said it.
I did just say it, but I said it in a weird way. It sounds like he made you spend a bunch of money on games while you were gone.
Well, like, I went to his house, and here's what I love about He Who Shall Not Be Named, is he cannot make a decision. I won't say the L-E-E. I won't say it. He can't make a decision to save his life. he can't. Like if there was,
wait, are you saying analysis paralysis?
Not so much when playing games, but it is like when you're trying to make a decision, like what are we going to play, right? And so I get to his house and I'm like, hey man, what are we going to play? I don't know.
So you have to make the decision.
What do you want to play? I don't know. And so like we just sat in his room looking at this like beautiful board of wall of games, and I'm like, what are we going to play? I don't know. You decide. You're on vacation. Bro, I don't want to decide. I am on vacation. Just tell me what I want to play. I don't care. And so Dinosaur Island in person just looks so good. So I was like, hey, why don't we play this? Because both of them, him and his daughter, talked about having played it. And so I was like, hey, let's play that. You guys already know how to play it. And then I couldn't stay too much longer, but I ended up staying a little bit longer than I should have because we just played a bunch of like little games. But then I asked him for a filler game, so he finally made the decision about this game. Nice. So yeah, I guess he did cost me money. But I mean, he didn't. They're good games, and he was part of my original gaming group, and so like I know we have like same taste now. He likes more Euros than I do, and he likes heavy Euros and stuff. But man, it was such a great game. Like I really loved it. Like I'd play it right now. So quick, so fun, so fast. Just a lot of fun. So
nice.
that
We'll
is
have to try it when your
Realms.
copy comes in.
And my copy's already in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I'm ready to drive over to your house and play right now.
Just mid podcast, you'll leave from the podcast and then you'll just show up here.
Well, for a filler game, it's definitely my number one filler game right now.
Oh, nice.
Because like you could take it all out of the box and just put it in like a Ziploc bag and just carry it with you in your back pocket if you wanted to, and just the thing that's like, because the playing cards are your average size playing cards, but then the score tracker, that's it. But super fun, super simple. Fantasy Realms, I got it for like 16 or 17, maybe $18 or something like that, under $20. I've already played it like 5 times. Well worth the $20. And in my opinion, that may be high for you guys for a filler game, because then you can get a game like Tiny Epic something for $25. So like I get it, but
cool. I mean, that sounds like the right price for a filler game, though.
It's so much fun, Roy. Like, here's what's gonna happen is I'm gonna bring it to you guys, and you're gonna be like, I'm like, screw you guys, this game is great.
Rob overhyped it. No, I'm just kidding.
And I made to you, and I think the reason why I'm hyping it so much is I had no idea about the game. It was completely at a left field for me.
It's crazy because there's
so nothing.
There's so many games that there are good games that no one ever hears about. Like, doesn't that kind of makes me sad? Because I don't know. Like sometimes things just might never see the light of day just because they don't get the right amount of hype or the right amount of exposure, But the game could be amazing. So,
well, that's what there's so many games that come out every year now. You're gonna run into that. So I'm glad we were able to play it.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, I guess we can get into our topic, which we're going to be talking about looking back, because Epic Gaming Night this is our 150th episode of Epic Gaming Night.
So what did you guys call that episode when you cheated on me with Mark? Was that 149 and a half?
No. I turned the Hangout episode into just Patron Hangout, and then that was 149.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of these days, Skype will stop just randomly closing. But it's not today.
Nope, not today. Your computer hates Skype, or Skype hates your computer, or both.
I hate Skype.
I will say, though, for a side note to Mark's question about which fantasy character would I play a game with, I would play a board game with Michael Scott from The Office, Dwight Schrute, Andy Bernard, and probably Kevin from The Office. I just think whatever it was, either Kevin or Creed, or I might mix in some of the Parks and Rec people, but it'd be some people from those two shows. I just think it'd be so stupid and so fun. I don't know. I would thoroughly enjoy myself.
Nice. So yeah, we've done a couple episodes of the podcast here now. What have been some of your favorite moments from the podcast?
I've been talking a lot, so how about you guys go? I can keep
one of
going.
mine is when we had one of our fans create a remix song of us. And I think it started because I said something inappropriate, and Rob's like, somebody should make a remix of that. They should cut that up and like do this thing, and he did, but it was like with all of us, and man, it was just hilarious. And great. I have the audio of what he made on the YouTube channel, but it's like privated, and you have to go to the podcast where I talk about it and like click the link, and I don't even know where it is, but it's way back there somewhere, and it was just hilarious to see. I mean, we throw this podcast out there, and I mean, we did it for forever without very many people in chat and things like that. It's really cool because now we get to see people talking and talk to people live face to face, but sometimes we used to just throw stuff out there and not really know who was listening. I mean, we get numbers like, oh, some people are listening, but we don't really know what's going on. It was just really cool to see fans interact back with us, and take the inside jokes of things that we said and throw them on their head. That was pretty cool. So that's one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt?
Man, I don't know. There's so much cool stuff. I'm probably gonna have to go all of our guests. I feel like I don't, since I don't partake in as much board game media or just behind the scenes board game stuff as you guys do. I'm always like, okay, cool, this guy made a game. What game is it? All right, maybe I've heard of it, maybe I haven't, And it's always something that you come in and they always have something very interesting to say, something that's really interesting or just an evocative thought process on game creation or something like that always is just really interesting to listen to. Also, Emerson's always my favorite part about the podcast because the man is great. He's got a super relaxing voice. He's incredibly gifted, and so I don't know, but yeah, I think it's my thing.
Hector, I freaking love Hector. I will say one of my favorite moments so far, and there are a bunch, but it was like a couple of episodes. The first one I'll say is when we went off on that space tangent and talking about the parawapsy and the apoapsy and the possibilities of actual space travel and like going around the machine and like bending because we can't really tear through it, so we got to bend around and all that stuff. Like, I love it when we go off on our rants. That like really have nothing to do with podcasting, or I mean, not podcasting, board gaming. Like, one of my favorites still ever is when Matt and I are talking about Brexit, and then I go into Greece and how they just financially don't care and just said screw you to the EU.
We're just talking about the Grecian economy for 15 minutes.
30. It was a long time we were talking about this. Oh, that was like such a good time, and it had nothing to do with anything, but it was just, I love it because it's just like us just hanging out, right? Yeah. It's not like, granted, I like the show and like we have our questions and stuff, but it was a genuine just hangout moment. Like, we're just a couple buddies sitting around talking about something. It was just that was a blast. So I like those moments. Like the other day, I think it was a month ago, we talked about movies. Like, we went off on movies for a minute.
I think one of the things that's most interesting to me about our tangents is that I don't feel like we would get off on those sort of tangents in real life. Or maybe we just wouldn't notice it as much.
I'm pretty sure we just live in the tangents in real life.
True. You don't notice it.
I don't try to force the conversation back to board games in real life as much.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's not that awkward. Like,
except right, guys, when I'm trying to teach the rules. Because normally we get in the tangents in the middle of me teaching the rules. And then I'm like, but the game. But the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Or, hey, whose turn is it? What are we doing?
Those are always my favorite gaming moments where it's just somebody made a joke and then everybody at the table is just talking about this one thing, and then it's like 10 minutes go by and they're like, wait, who was doing what? What happened?
Were we still playing this game?
That always happens like that around like
okay with
the
analysis
fourth hour.
paralysis.
Yeah.
Like, those moments are fine.
I feel like that always happens around like the 3 to 4 hour mark in like Twilight Imperium, where everybody's just like just a little clocked out. You know, they probably need to go get some food, maybe a beverage.
I mean, I feel like we were playing Dead of Winter the other day. Like we would play the game a little bit and then just start randomly talking about random stuff. And then play the game for a little bit.
It didn't go well.
I mean, I feel like we were done with the game, but we're like, what? Are we still playing this? I don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah. Rob, just to catch you up, we played The Long Night. And we played a scenario that
we didn't realize, but it's like a scenario where you have like one card and you complete that objective, and then you go to the book and read stuff out of it, and then you go back to like a next card and you complete that objective, and you go back to the book. But each objective you only have like 2 rounds to complete.
2 rounds. So we burned like everything in the first one. We're like, yes, all right, we did it. Wait, hold up. Now I have to do this? I don't have anything. I've got 2 cans of fuel. That's it. Like, what?
Exactly. And you had to do it so fast you couldn't even worry about your own objective. You're just like, what?
Right. Yeah, no. You couldn't even do that. Like, it was like, hey, there's zombies at the colony. We were like, I don't care. There's zombies. I really don't care.
Like,
this is awful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
I'm glad you guys played.
Yeah, I want to play it again. I want to play like an act campaign. I feel like that one wouldn't be bad, knowing what we know now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Going into that, it was a little like, what? Huh?
I mean, I feel like ours, if we had a trader, like I don't even know what. We didn't have a trader, and we were still drowning. So if we would have had a trader, the trader would have been in the same boat because he wouldn't have been able to complete his objective. So.
He also would have probably just been panicking the whole
time. Nice.
Anywho.
Any other thing?
I mean, I've had tons. I mean, even just the fact of when we had like Isaac on for the very first time, and like,
oh yeah,
like I think he could tell.
I felt like we were
super new. I didn't know how to interview people. Like this was like we were super like. I don't know, nervous and things like that, and it really meant a lot to us. And I mean, I know this wasn't part of like the actual podcast, but like afterwards, Isaac's all like, man, you guys are doing like a really great job, and like people who are passionate about board games and things like that, that's like the backbone of this industry and stuff like that. And I just want to encourage you guys to like keep at it and keep making podcasts. And maybe he felt bad for us, but it really meant a lot at the time. And him and like Emerson and stuff like that, I tell both of them all the time. I'm like, you guys are the reasons we're still doing this podcast, just because the amount of encouragement and stuff you guys gave me when we first started. So. It's just been awesome to have amazing people in the industry, besides the fact that they're cool game designers, but just that they're really cool people as well. So,
oh yeah,
I think the other thing that's really cool is half the time, you know, all these game devs, like I'm just assuming, I'm like, oh, you know, they're just here to, you know, promo whatever they got coming out or come talk to us about something. And half the time they always stick around after the podcast is over and after we shut it down, and we're talking to them for like an hour.
Yeah, I love that.
Not everybody. Some people are like, all right, cool guys, thanks, have a great day. Like just shut it down. But you know, like it's always a good interview, and I feel like there's a lot of good flow when you're literally sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's oh god, it's 1 a.m. I need to actually go to sleep. So thank you for literally everything, but I've got to go.
Nice.
I'll say before we move on, or if we're not moving on, my next thing is when I finally realized that Adam Sparkles was not Adam Sparkles, but Adam Sparks, and Darth.
Yes.
Darth Vader was actually Darth Greater. And I'm referring to when I finally joined the chat. Like, because we would just take Roy's word at whatever he said. Oh, Adam Sparkles, and we're like, cool, Adam Sparkles. Hey, man. Thank you for so much. And it's still like a running joke. We still call him Sparkles. In fact, if you listen to our D&D thing that we did on Sunday,
I'm pretty sure he changed his Instagram to Adam Sparkles.
I think he just made that. It was just like, yeah, this will be my board game Instagram. This will be good.
Man, that was so freaking just hilarious. Like joining chat and that's been fun for me. Is just like developing more relationships with like the people that listen and then we get to play with and things like that. Like I've loved it. But yeah, and like even the D&D thing, Roy was a Gnome Rouge, instead of a gnome rogue. Just little stuff like that.
I can't believe that was there on the other episode. Nobody mentioned it when I went to the second episode.
I never even noticed.
It's like this small.
Looked at that stuff until the guy pointed it out, and then I started looking.
Hey, I fixed it mid-episode. So
hey, man,
while we're still going,
you just need to multi-class into Bard as an honorary purveyor of Rouge.
I'm like, God, whatever. DMing and photoshopping at the same time. Pulled it up. Pulled the thing up.
Man,
edited it.
Well, stop. Yeah, man.
It was all good.
Change the space of 2 letters, guys. No, it's fine. It's fine. Awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. And remember our Raxon episode last time we had Isaac on, and at the very end of it, that was hilarious. Because we were all like, "Oh man, Isaac, tell us more about this Raxon thing." He's like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And then I'm like, "Dude, I hear knocking," and somebody's like, "Oh, I hear helicopters," and I just like turned it off. And normally we do our whole outro thing, we just didn't.
Pretty good.
Like I had some people being like, "Are you guys actually okay?" Man, our acting skills are on point.
Oh, bro.
That's why we're playing D&D.
It was pretty fun. Pretty fun. Awesome. Well, what have you enjoyed the most about doing the podcast?
The people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just between the guests and chat and meeting people at cons and stuff like that. Like if it was just us talking, I don't know. Well, I probably would not have stuck around as long. But I love the interaction with the people and things like that. Pretty much everybody except for Mark Cale.
Yeah. I mean, you win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. I really thought by the second time we went to Mega Moose Con, he would have served his wife divorce papers to end up with Roy. I mean, the man is so in love with Roy Cannaday. And it was just really evident the very first time I met him. He didn't even know who I was. And we're talking and having a conversation. And then as soon as Roy walks in, he's just like, huh? Like stops mid-sentence and turns to Roy. And like had to get his jaw off the ground and everything. I was just like, wow, okay, cool. Like Roy is married though, and I think it's going well with him and his wife. Like I don't know if there's something going on I don't know about. But yeah, everybody else but Mark. So. How about you guys?
I think for me, it would probably be this might be a bit odd answer, but sort of like broadening my horizons, not just necessarily in board gaming per se, but like I'm not a very social person. I'm not particularly keen on talking to people. So the fact that we do this and then we're interacting with people with interviews and then all of the fans and stuff, it allows me to, I guess, have a more open and available space to just be me and sort of do that and have all the stuff work out. And it's always cool going to cons and seeing people I know and being like, hey man, what's up? And then, it's a very natural sort of relationship that's there. And that's really cool for me, not just in a board gaming sense, but just in a general thing. Because I'm always like, man, how do you make friends? I don't know. How does that work? In high school, it was just proximity. But now there isn't. Proximity is not a thing that exists anymore. So it's like, well, what do? So it's just a really interesting learning experience.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've always thought is interesting about podcasts is like when someone listens to you on a podcast and like after they listen to you for so many episodes, like they're basically already your friend because they know you in like a strange way. Like I guess as much as you could know a friend, just because they hear you talk so much, and like they're already friends with us. Like all of our listeners are already friends with us. We just don't necessarily know them yet. And as soon as we meet them, we're like automatically friends because they know kind of like different things about us and we have the same inside jokes, even though I may have never met you yet, awesome listener who's listening right now. As soon as I do get to meet you and as soon as we like get to play a game together, we can just hang out and talk about games and things like that. It's like we automatically can just immediately hit it off. Like it's crazy. Like the first The first year we went to Gen Con, like we had just started the podcast, nobody knew who we were except for Emerson, which was crazy. So like we went up to Isaac, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was on you guys' podcast," and gave us a hug, and like that meant the world to us. And then Emerson knew who. Oh my
gosh, we talked about that.
Oh yeah, we talked about it a ton. We're like, oh my gosh, Isaac gave us a hug. He knew who we were. It was crazy. And Emerson like went up and talked to us, and he knew who we were. Like that meant a lot to us because there was a couple of guests we had on. But then the next year we went back, and I was working with Gray Fox, and you guys were running around all over the place. And I know Rob was at the Ashes tournament, and tons of people were talking to him about the podcast at the Ashes tournament. And I was at Gray Fox, and so many people were stopping by and getting Epic Gaming Night dice. And like there were people that were like taking pictures with me. And like this was before I was doing much at all with the Dice Tower, so it was like legitimately just for the podcast stuff. So it was really cool to get to hang out with people that like listen to our show. So yeah, just interacting with all the amazing people that are just other gamers out there. You know, it's really cool to hang out with you guys. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
Hype.
Well, we also have that one thing in common, like that's great for people like Matt and other introverts and stuff like that. It's like that thing that can break the ice is board games.
Yeah.
So whether anything else, whether you're uncomfortable or not, you see that board game. Hey, so you like this game? No, okay, and you sink back in your shell. But
everything's failed. You just sort of put your head down and go, "Great meeting you," and walk off.
Yeah. Okay. Another favorite moment is like when Matt's like, "I've never found love," or whatever he said. Like Roy and I are like being all serious, and Matt's like, "Well, I can't because I'm not in love." Or no, it was when our wives were on. Yeah. I won't be on that show because I'm alone. That's what he said. I'm alone.
Yo,
so bad.
I think that was a listener question though, because they were all like, "Hey, what games do you play with your wife or whatever or significant other?"
I think you're right. I don't because I'm alone. And it's just the way you said it and the timing. And you didn't mean, I don't think you meant to be comedic or anything, but it was absolutely hilarious. Like an awkward funny.
Stop making fun of Matt, Rob. Come on.
I intended to get some sort of laugh because I always find self-deprecating humor to be at least slightly humorous. If it's too real, it's like, okay, that's weird. But, I don't know.
I'll never forget that.
That's pretty funny. Also, don't play Rhino Hero at a funeral. Probably not
After a funeral, that's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So is there anything that has happened on the podcast that you'll never forget? I'm sure we've already talked about a lot of that sort of stuff, but
I've got two specific things.
Okay.
First one, still my favorite interview ever. The Stephen Avery first interview.
The 3.5 hour.
And the not on purpose, the not because we're hanging out, but because his mom was getting on the internet and his dial-up was going off. Just Stephen Avery just as a man and in whole, just so fun, so much fun, just such a sweet guy. And he genuinely cares about the hobby and the games and the industry. And he's another cool dude where you meet him, you'll just, after you meet him within 5 minutes, you feel like you've known him forever. And we were putting up with all the terrible internet stuff because we were having so much fun. But that's Stephen Avery. It was so chaotic. It was good. And then we met him at Mace, and we got to see him in person.
Oh yeah. And, he was exactly the same.
The exact same way, and giving him a hard time, right off the bat. I remember right off the bat giving him a hard time about his internet, and he just goes with it and just laughing, and we're laughing and going off. I love that. I absolutely love that. So that's my first one.
I remember specifically that, and you guys were like, "Hey, man, this is Steven." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Shook his hand. I was like, "I don't know who that guy is." Literally interviewed him a week before, but he looked so different because his internet was so awful.
It was so bad. Didn't he have to go outside and get on his cell phone or something like that? Or he got on another computer because the one computer just ended up dying.
Yes, he is dedicated. Man.
I'm pretty sure Rob was all like, "Oh, we should get the designer of it was either Daryl Andrews or Jonathan Gilmour. Rob was like, "Oh, we should get them on the podcast." I'm like, "Dude, we had them on the podcast like a couple weeks ago," and you're like, "Was that one guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally." You're like, "I don't remember. Too many people."
But but Avery's great.
Yeah, man.
That's my first one. How about you guys?
I'm not sure yet. Roy, do you have one?
How about I say, I feel like I've used up a ton of my stuff that I've already said with the other things. Oh man.
All right. My second one. It wasn't on the show, but it was the first time we went to Gen Con as a group.
Yeah.
Just that was my favorite gaming convention experience. Not my favorite gaming convention, but the experience of like all of
everybody
us
shoved in a hotel room
into this small room. Matt and Hector on the cots, me and Brandon spooning, Roy, and I don't know who Roy was sleeping with, but
I was on the couch.
Roy was on the couch.
Fold-out couch.
That wasn't really a couch. That was more like a fold-out chair.
Fold-out chair. I was on the fold-out chair.
We had the room was packed. We're running around trying to get Pokemon. We're eating so much pizza. So much pizza. Playing Secret Hitler in the bedroom or in the hotel room, still one of my favorite experiences, again, with Matt. Like, cool. All right, fascist. All right, we're good. I mean, and then
like, flash open your eyes. Okay, good. Wait, how would you know that fast? Come on, Matt.
Right?
Man, I didn't even think anything was like. You guys are like, do we need to start over? And I was like, why? I don't know. My brain just did not in that moment. Anywho.
Oh, that was so much fun. And then me filming you guys while you're asleep. Like I made my own like little
Blair Witch
Project film thing.
Oh god.
That was just such a fun trip. And then we played D&D on the way up there. Or you guys did it. I got in for like 10 minutes of like the last one while I was driving. But just that was such a fun experience. And it happened because of the podcast. So that's why I'm putting it down as a podcast thing.
Yeah.
And Hector can just fall asleep anywhere. I don't know if it's because he was working so much at the time. Like anytime we sat down in the lobby, he was asleep. Like unless we were doing something, Hector was out. I have multiple videos on my phone that I saved to my computer of Hector just random sleeping.
I didn't know about that.
I think my favorite thing about Hector is Hector has just the ability to be sitting down and like go to sleep like in like traditional dad fashion where it's just like you're doing something and then you're just don't care anymore and you're just asleep and everything's fine. But we went to like New Orleans and I know there was a couple of times that I went to sleep and Hector's just wide awake the whole time. And I'm just like, dang. I don't know. Like, what is it? He just turns it on. He's like, all right, I'm not going to sleep for 16 hours. Here we go. And then other days it's like power naps occasionally through the.
Also, I put on Star Wars. You guys remember we tried to watch Star Wars in my car on my phone? I put it on.
Which Star Wars was that?
It was episode 7 because Matt hadn't seen it yet, even though we spoiled for him. Spoiler alert, Solo dies.
No, you didn't. It was just some random kid.
But it had already been spoiled for you.
Yeah.
And so, I put it on our like 9+ hour drive back. Man. Such an awesome trip.
Nice.
Just such a great trip.
So, what game that we've talked about would you really want to revisit?
Ooh. We're skipping a question.
Which one did I skip?
No, let's talk.
Yeah, let me do that one. Oh, we'll just go back to it. What game that we've talked about a ton would you really want to revisit?
This is tough. I'll let you guys go first.
I still really want to get another great game of Battlestar Galactica with all of us in on it. Mostly because we used to talk about that a ton back in the day. And I mean, I actually like Dead of Winter and Battlestar Galactica. Like, I feel like there's room in my collection for both those games because I feel like they're similar but still very different. But I just love that long con of the Cylon and Battlestar Galactica, and it feels awesome. So I'd love to play that again. And we used to talk about it a ton back in the day. So
yeah,
that game is still going strong. People are still posting that all over.
And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure it's been out of print for a while at this point.
For a while.
I don't even know if it's going to come back or if they're going to do a new edition or if it's just going to be gone or they're going to reprint it. Whoever knows with Asmodee/Fantasy Flight, but it's still a great game.
Of course, Rhino Hero, but like we still play that often, like with the Super Battle and stuff like that. So
yeah.
What do you think, Matt? I've got mine, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I really do want to play Dead of Winter again.
Yeah.
That one game wasn't quite enough to scratch my itch. It was interesting and enjoyable for what it was. The
struggle
worth.
Is real.
But I definitely want one of those sort of like long slugs, and I think we've been talking about it so much that I really, really want to get the Warring Colonies full 4v4 going.
Bro, we're doing that.
Cool.
You don't want another game of XCOM where I can yell at Hector about I don't know what to do with the science stuff?
Dice Tower Con. If we don't play it before then, let's definitely get Warring Colonies at Dice Tower Con.
That'd be a good place to do it. We can meet up with a lot of the friends of the show.
We meet up with Liz. I know she's down there. She'll be there. Meet up with whoever wants to play, and let's just do it. Because that's the whole con is just playing whatever game you want to play.
Especially since it's like multiple days.
Oh yeah.
Or like a longer period.
And it's open as late as you want to be up. And if we're staying like closer, that was a problem with me and Rob last time. Is like we still stayed there super late, but like we had to leave and like go drive a ways. This time it's gonna be even better, right, Rob?
Yeah, like my room, at least the room that they charged me for, it's the one that's on their website. Like I went to the one that's on the Dice Tower Con, like the one that they advertise. I believe it's part of it.
Nice.
So yeah, and we didn't drive far, but still, you're driving 20 minutes away. It's just annoying and stuff like that. Where this one, we'll be able to stay forever, and not have to worry about anything. My game that I want us to go back and play, I want us to play at least 20 rounds. I don't care about points, but I want to see a crazy story of Tales of the Arabian Nights.
Yes.
That's a game where it's like so much fun and like crap that one person was trying to win the game. Who cares about winning the game? That's a game where I don't care if I lose every time. Falling in love with the mudslide, trying to persuade a guard to do something, or having a genie cut off one of your legs and now you move one step less per round. It's just so much fun.
I feel like doing it, since time wouldn't be an issue, you could do it the way the rulebook has, where when you're setting up the score points, you basically get to pick how many story and how many destiny points you want, and you just have to equal a total of like 20. So you can be like, let's do 15 and 5. 15, that seems like, that seems really good. But then you end up and you're like, Jesus, I'm never going to get to 15. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty solidly random which one you get. So
yeah. That's what makes it pretty.
Just you do 20 and 20.
If
Come on,
time
man.
isn't an object, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Man, I've almost pulled the trigger on buying that game so many times, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's such a heavy game too, man.
Yeah.
I remember, Rob, you got it,
like,
and like I got it like the same time.
I know.
And you're like, I got this Tales of the Arabian Nights game. I'm like, oh yeah, me too. And then we played it before you did, and you're just like, guys.
I do remember that.
That's another one on the list that you're ranting on. Why'd you guys play this without me? Awesome. So what do you think has been our most talked about games?
Rhino Hero.
And Blood Rage. That's
and Blood Rage.
Yep. Rhino Hero and Blood Rage. Or just Blood Rage exclusives. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that and Zaya. I mean,
we were talking about Zaya a decent amount.
Especially when we were playtesting the expansion and stuff, but
and all the stuff. And Dead of Winter, like we've talked about those games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely Rhino Hero and Blood Rage, I say are close for 1 and 2.
I mean, for the size of Blood Rage, I'm pretty sure it's like my most played like bigger game, you know. Because like Rhino Hero is easy to pull out like wherever, and you can just play it and have fun. But like as far as like Blood Rage,
man, chat's bringing back
the Go Cuckoos. Yeah,
Go
Go
Cuckoo
Cuckoo is fun.
Mansions of Madness in there. Go Cuckoo.
Mansions of Madness we talk about all the time too. I want to play. I need to play the. I think the next expansion for Mansions of Madness is like about to drop, and like I haven't played all the ones from the Streets of Arkham yet. Like I need to get those played.
I haven't played.
I would just play them with Scotty, but I want to play them with the group.
I'll buy it, even though I haven't played all of the things.
Oh, I will too, because
I just it's my favorite game ever. I love it. Anytime it's being played, I'll play it.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting is I've only played the one game of Mansions of Madness.
Second edition?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't with us when we played it last time, were you?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, because you were out of town.
Yeah.
We should play again.
Played with Ryan, little redheaded guy. In the museum. I mean, that dude's a trip. He's a lot of fun.
We played regular Mansions of Madness first edition with Ryan, and Rob will never forget that.
Oh man, that was I think I remember that, right?
Yeah, you were there for that.
Three of us made it out.
Dude, that was so much fun because like AJ's character killed like everybody else's character.
It was so. AJ's like, well, I'm at the door and I went crazy. I got a shotgun. Who's coming around the corner?
I'm like, I don't know what's scarier, the fact that like there were monsters in the thing, or the fact that AJ's character got out after murdering the rest of the party.
I just can't believe at the very beginning of the game we're like, hey guys, we don't need to go there. There's obviously something bad. Ryan takes off immediately for there with like a pocket knife. Like immediately to like where the altar is all set up. Like that was so fun when Ryan just took off, and he comes back to us so bloodied and all beat up. I don't think his character made it at the end of the game.
Yeah, Deception is definitely. Deception? I'm pretty sure Deception's still our favorite social deduction game.
Oh, Deception, so good.
Oh yeah, especially with the new upgraded cards and stuff like that. I want to play that with like the new people. Because I played with the new stuff since then, but not the new characters.
Yeah.
We'll also
don't you have to have like a certain number to play?
Yeah. We'll have to do that at Dice Tower Con.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely
be 6 or 7. I think it's like 6 or 7 because it starts to replace some of the normal investigators.
Gotcha.
Like sufficiently early on in the character or the player number wise.
Yeah, and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is still like. I'm pretty sure Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is my third favorite game, right under Twilight Imperium and War of the Ring.
Oh man,
like I love that game.
Have you not played it yet, Matt?
Matt hasn't played the production copy of the game. Like you need to.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played the production.
So many copy. Games we need to play. Anyway,
we only got so much time.
No, quit your job. We'll just all live together and play board games. No, I'm just kidding.
I can see a couple of problems with that.
We're all moving into your house, Matt, because it's paid off. And then...
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, so hey, what is the Epic Gaming Night podcast to you?
A waste of time.
You're not wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's absolutely not a waste of time. It's hanging out with my friends, man. It's more than just a show. I get to hang out with I get to talk to you guys. I get to chat with other people. It's a platform for me to get to meet new and amazing people and talk about something that I'm passionate about. It's also another escape. Like half the time I don't even know the stuff that Roy's written down as questions. But it's fun. I still can escape and answer them, and so I love it. I'm very thankful for it.
I definitely think it's a community and a fun outlet for us to be able to
a good word.
Be creative and like come up like and actually create stuff. I mean, maybe I do a little bit more of that just because I have to get everything ready and come up with all these different things and produce the files and put it up and like do the overlays and all that stuff and try to figure those things out. But it's definitely fun to do that, and then just like the community of all the awesome people we've gotten to meet, whether it be awesome designers or publishers or just the awesome listeners and people that we've met and actually built relationships with.
Except for Mark.
So
Poor Mark.
You took the poor man's homeworld. Poor Mark. I'm just kidding.
I gave it back to him.
Only because you were leaving.
Well,
you're like, well, fair enough.
You still got it back.
What about you, Matt?
Man, you guys gave serious answers, so my jokey answer is going to seem really dumb.
No, do it. It's fine. Jeez.
I was just going to be like, it means love. But that's
yes.
Matt's the Care
Love
Bear
of
of the
cheese.
podcast.
Yeah, man. I don't know. But I feel like, man, Dart's got a good point. This podcast is cheese and wood chips. It's an apt summarization, I feel like, for
There you go.
what goes on, man. It's just inside jokes, relatively safe for work debauchery, lots of cardboard,
Man,
the occasional spot about the Grecian economy.
we lost Crystal so much with the whole line will
Yeah, she had
split
no
thing.
idea.
I didn't realize she had no clue what was going on until like 20 minutes later when we had to
I think
explain
the
it.
best thing was she still was just laughing, I guess, at the sheer absurdity of everything, and it was fascinating to.
I derailed our own D&D campaign for an Epic Gaming Night meme.
Hey man, it's good.
But dude, I had that planned for like 3 months. I'm not even joking. I didn't have it 100% planned to the T, but like the puzzle and like the what ifs and the creature and like maybe this is gonna happen, and I didn't like make it happen at all. It just happened. Chat made it happen more than I made it happen.
Yeah, man.
Because chat was like,
Get
"You
that.
need to pee."
Chad was saying that.
That's awesome. Awesome. Cool. So what would you love to see us do on the podcast in the future?
I'll let you guys answer that first. I've got ideas, but I feel like I talk too much already.
I mean, honestly, I use this like podcast as like we do it super casual. Like there's tons of amazing podcasts that put tons of like crazy time and effort and like try to make it all polished with crazy sound effects and all sorts of crazy stuff. But our podcast is super laid back and chill and casual, and I think it's just fun to have people on and talk to different people. And I just like to like make more relationships with more awesome people in the future. I mean, is like the main thing I'd like to do with the podcast. I love to have more guests and meet more people from the industry, meet more gamers and things like that, and just continue to do stuff. I mean, there's definitely way bigger podcasts with huger followings, but we're niche, but we have a lot of fun with our listeners and things like that as well. So just continue to do what we're doing for the most part, and just meet more people and keep chugging along, you know.
Boom.
Yeah. Rob, you go.
Also, Corey Kineska, please answer my messages. Corey Kineska.
Paging Corey Kineska.
I love that man.
I've
He-
messaged
his
him
brain.
multiple times. I don't know. That's fine. If you have connections to Fantasy Flight, please email us with the people we need to email.
I would love to see us do like maybe more meetups, whether we try to do like a small, like little local something. And when I say local is not like, maybe we like rented out a conference room of like a hotel somewhere, and we had people like on the South Carolina border, North Carolina border come, or either that or just like meetups with fans. I would like to do more like scheduled meetups where we can all, like, it'd be so much fun if everybody brought a copy of Rhino Hero and we all just played. Or
I did talk to Mark Cale about having a Rhino Hero tournament at Mega MooseCon, but that's not our own thing.
But I mean, like stuff like that gets me excited. Either that or the more Patreon hangouts in games and stuff like that. Like I think you already do a great job with the reviews and stuff like that, and we, it's been a while since we've helped out, but like we help out whenever we can. But I would like to see us do more like in person, hanging out with these great people, stuff like that. So
awesome. Well, definitely, if any of you guys see us at conventions, make sure to hit us up there too, because like we said, some of our favorite things are when the fans come up and talk to us about stuff, So if you ever see us at the different conventions we're going to, make sure to hit us up.
And try to get a game in with us, like especially if we're just like standing around. Like, come on, man! Like, let's just get a game in and play and hang out. I might have Fantasy Realms with me. Won't take long to play, but we'll love to hang out with people.
Is there anything else you'd like to see us do, Matt?
I think it would be really cool, since our podcast is focused on sort of the storytelling aspect of games and how they create stories. I think it would be cool to do just occasionally either like a random off episode or something like that, where we try to declare a specific date. And we play a game, and we get a group of people together, and we maybe play the game twice if it's like a short game or something, and then come back and then just have an entire podcast focused on that game, where we're telling the story.
It's like we Twitch the game live, and then we talk about the game.
Yeah, like I think that's, and maybe this is a little like meta, but like for me, when people describe things as sort of a visceral storytelling experience, I become more immersed in that thing, even if it's not something that's very much my style.
Sure.
Like good storytelling causes me to want to go out and buy specific products because of how it was related to me. Yeah. So it's one of those things that I can look at and say, we've talked about Blood Rage a bunch, and we talk about a lot of these epic moments from it and stuff, but like, and maybe it's too dry. I don't know. That might be just something that the people on the internet would probably have a better gauge of. But like, just be able to sit down and explain sort of like a play-by-play almost, not like something that's that scrutinous, but talk about how things operated from turn to turn, maybe what people were thinking about, and then tell the tale of what was going on in this board game and how it was shaped.
Like the strategy breakdown and what you were thinking. Okay.
That
would be kind of cool.
Maybe that, but like also too, I haven't really thought this through at all. This is something that's just flying off the cuff. But like one of those things where it's like if you have a really interesting story, you can basically strip away the players from the board, and it's just like literally. I don't know if you've ever seen people who go through and animate like those D&D fights where they're like, okay, well this guy moved here, that guy did this, and then they're like, okay, so all this stuff happens in 6-second increments, and then they animate all this stuff moving and like just the carnage of battle, and you're like, dude, that's actually really cool when you look at it from a non like very strict and rigid set. So like if you have a really compelling story in a game of like BSG or something, you just sort of strip away the players, and then you can sort of get down to, okay, and this guy was doing this, so it seemed really shady. So, Chief was over there, and he's like, I don't know what we're doing about this. Let's just, so we start, And then so if you frame it that way from a perspective of, like, narrative storytelling and engagement, I think it's something that would be really interesting to try. But I don't know. That's also a bit of a time-consuming process, but...
Yeah, but I think if you did it like you said, if it was like, not constant, but every blue moon or something like that, that could work.
Nice. Awesome, guys. I think this has been our Look Back 150th episode. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. We stream these normally Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Also, a reminder to check out our Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea giveaway. The link is in the show notes and the description, because we like that game and you should play it too, because it's pretty awesome. So, hey, maybe you get a chance to win it. And it's kind of funny because there were a bunch of people that are like, man, I can't find a way to, like, because the pre-orders are like all sold out for the game. And it's going to be like very limited release in stores. So I saw a few people on Twitter being like, man, I really wish I could buy this game. And I'm like, well, I've only been talking about how amazing it is for a year. So I'm like, you should have got in on the Kickstarter, like, because I was shouting to the rooftops. But yeah, so Heroes of Land and Sea is cool. Also, thanks so much to our amazing patrons for all of your patronage. I just had to increase our Libsyn account because we're now doing the D&D thing, so it's going to cost us more every month for that. But no sweat at all, because we have our awesome patrons who are helping cover all of that sort of stuff. So it's really cool to be able to do more and more things just because you guys are helping us out. So yeah. And do we want to do Patron of the Week, Rob?
Do we want to?
We need to.
I don't think we have a choice. Not with this person. Don't think we have a choice. I need everybody to do me a favor real quick. I need you to close your eyes. I need everybody to close your eyes. I need you to go to that happy place. I need you to think of everything that makes you feel warm and good and comfortable inside, and that perfect day. I need you to think about that thing that just, when it comes to your light, when it comes to the forefront of your mind, just immediately you can't help but just smile. When the worst of the worst is happening, when you don't play Rhino Hero after a funeral, this is the thought that comes to your mind. Are you guys all thinking about it? Because I think if we all said the same thing at the same time, we'd all have the same answer. And obviously that beautiful, amazing thing is Sean Hudson.
Sean Hudson, yeah.
Sean Hudson. Sean freaking Hudson. Sean Hudson is the joy that when my 7-month-old is crying and screaming and pulling my hair and she just threw up in my mouth and also pooped on me at the same time, I get to look back and I'm like, man, Sean flippin' Hudson. Life's okay. Life is okay. When my 5-year-old won't get up and go to school because she just wants to sleep for another 12 hours, Sean Hudson. When my deals fall apart and my wife is mad at me for some reason, and Roy beats me at another board game, and Matt didn't bring my favorite cheese, Sean Hudson. Sean flippin' freaking Hudson. And life is okay. Life is good because I know this man. This man is amazing. He's wonderful. He's gorgeous. He's beautiful. He is light. He is love. He is Sean flippin' Hudson. And let me tell you, if you don't know who Sean is, I'm not saying it's weird like a religion, but almost. You need to get to know Sean. You need to get to know Sean real well. Because Sean is the man. We love Sean. We appreciate him. We thank him for putting up with us. I don't know why he does it. I don't know why he graced us with his presence. But freaking Sean with the SH, Sean Hudson, you are beautiful. You are awesome, and we love you. Thank you so much. And whoever gets to get to know you, whoever has that lucky chance of actually touching you today, whether it's a hug or a handshake or a fist bump, I'm sorely jealous. Sorely jealous of that person and that body part. Sean, you're the best. Can't thank you enough for doing what you do. Thanks for putting up with us. We love you. Have an amazing week, Sean Hudson. Sean Hudson.
Awesome. Well, if you want to support Epic Gaming Night, make sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. Thanks to all of our amazing patrons again. And make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Epic Gaming Night. And check out Favorite Game Friday and our reviews over on the Dice Tower. Thanks so much, everybody, for the show. It's definitely been awesome.
And thank you, Sean.
And just remember Sean Hudson if you ever feel down.
Just close your eyes. And if you keep him closed long enough, he'll come. He'll come. You just got to give him a minute because he may not know everybody as well. So it may take him a couple of extra minutes to walk to the forefront of your mind. But you just give him that extra time. He'll be there. Sean won't leave you. He won't leave.
Thanks, chat. You guys are amazing.
Chat, you are the best.
Yeah.
Oh, so much chat.
Love you guys so much.
You guys are the best. Yeah. Okay. Peace.